So, welcome to the first episode of the Big Fat Tattoo Dad podcast. I'm your host, Matt Anderson. Today I have Dan Patterson, longtime friend of mine, dude. I'm really excited to have you here.
Man, thank you for having me. I was half wondering if you had the right Dan Patterson when you got in touch with me about this.
Let's see. I've known you for about 10 years, give or take.
At least, yeah.
I met you when I was in my first band in Maine. You worked at Guitar Center, and you
Falling Skyward.
Yeah, Falling Skyward. Yeah, you fixed a lot of our shit.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're not there anymore. You're a dad yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your girls.
Girls, they are Haley and Elena, 9 and 10, going on 16. Although this age is a fun little pocket. They're old enough where we can hang out and talk about real stuff, but they're young enough to where they still think I'm cool.
Sure, yeah.
So
and the bars they won't let them in.
That's right. I know,
yeah.
so it's easy.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Are they in school?
Yeah, well, at home,
Oh, yeah, COVID. Yeah, no doubt.
So, they're on the computer a lot more than I wish they were.
Yeah. What grade?
Fourth and fifth.
Fourth and fifth. So so they're of school age. So they've been in real classes, obviously, before this year.
Yeah. So this is really weird to them, especially my youngest. She really thrives on routine and whatnot. So it's a bit of a challenge for her.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge for everybody.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Carter, my oldest, he's the only one he's in second grade, and then Rowan's only 4, and Lennox is 1. My first girl is Lennox. He thrives on chaos, honestly. Yeah, like, he's the most popular kid at school. He dresses like a fuckboy. You know what I mean? Like that's just as hard as I tried to get him into skinny jeans and Vans, it's just not him.
Yeah.
But he's blue. He's tall, dark, and handsome. He's got blonde hair, blue eyes. And
Totally.
And so he's super popular, and he just feeds on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just an animal. So the whole like staying home and writing his own schedule thing, he's honestly thrived in that environment because he wakes up and just instantly plays Fortnite.
Sure.
Until his eyes bleed, and then he does some online learning, and yeah, it's been weird.
Yeah.
So 4th and 5th grade, right?
Yep.
So you said 4th and 5th. Are they at the age where they're doing like school dances or anything like that yet?
Not quite
No.
yet. Yeah. But it's not far off.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the things. Like, I was nervous about having a daughter. A lot of my friends have daughters. A lot of my friends have only daughters, and I remember what I treated girls like in high school. And thankfully, call-out culture will kind of cancel a lot of that. When our daughters are of that age, but
Sure.
Now I'm like, now that I'm kind of past that, all I'm thinking about is like father-daughter dances and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited for that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, finding out that I was going to have a kid and kind of, I guess, instinctively really wanted, a son as pretty much every guy, kind of instinctively does. And I ended up with 2 daughters, and it totally rips.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. I love it.
Yeah, my friend Cody has 2 daughters. I think they're like 10 and 11 or 10 and 8, something like that. And he says the same thing. He's like, now that I have girls, I see like boy dads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm all set with that.
Totally.
Yeah, and we hang out. We work together for a couple of years, and we hang out when we go to the beach or whatever. Or they come here, and like we've got a pretty big yard, and my oldest has dirt bikes and electric scooters and all that shit, and climbs the basketball hoop and jumps off from the highest thing he can find. And every time Cody's like, dude, I would put my foot through his chest. Like, cannot do it. Couldn't even think about doing it.
Yeah. Totally.
So you've obviously had some career changes in the last 10 years. You're a shop owner now.
Yeah.
You do your completely independent, right?
Yeah. It's I had this love-hate relationship with touring, but before I opened my shop, I was a touring guitar tech for I guess 13 years. And for the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or so, I had this kind of like love-hate relationship where I was sort of half committed to the road and half committed to being home, and neither one was really taking off. And you'd almost think I saw this pandemic coming. In January, I was saying to my wife, I was like, man, I gotta pick one. Neither one's really materializing because I'm not all into either one.
Sure.
I was like, all right, I think I'm going to quit touring for good, and I'm going to open a shop. And so I decided to do that. I dropped off the tour that I was going to be on this year and opened a shop. And then it was, I mean, God, 6 weeks later, we started hearing the term Corona, and now that whole industry is
Slammed.
well, not gone, but definitely on standby.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of it's on its last leg, man. I mean, there's places in Portland that are closing daily.
Oh God, yeah. Port City was a real kick in the teeth,
Dude.
and I mean all over the place. Chain Reaction in Anaheim, California, which
Yeah.
is like total like iconic little place that every badass punk rock band that I grew up on as a teenager played, and yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And it's like, there's a lot of people that don't understand, because a lot of stuff closed when the shutdown first happened.
Yeah.
But they were closing like, we can't have customers.
Right.
Now, halfway through this, or from halfway to, I know we're not halfway through it, but from beginning to where we are now, somewhere in the middle, places started closing, and it was like for good.
Oh yeah, like this is gone.
Yeah, like not only do we not have customers, we have no income coming in, we can't pay anybody,
Totally.
and these people are some of these people are losing their fucking houses.
Oh yeah,
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so much more than just the the live shows. It's so many companies and little sub industries attached to everything that it is that makes a big tour happen. Merch companies printing merch for people that go on the road, truck companies, bus companies, travel agents, hotels, and I mean it's massive.
Dude, the guy that designs the lanyards.
Absolutely.
You know what I
no,
mean?
but seriously.
He does it at home.
Yeah.
He doesn't, but there's no more work orders. Like no
Absolutely.
one's asking that guy to do that anymore.
Absolutely.
Or the tour shirts, like you said, merch, all of that stuff. Like it's just gone.
Yeah. A million bands and whatnot probably pulling out of storage units, like big storage units in Nashville and LA and New York. And yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, it's awful. Especially, like so many of our friends that's what they do.
Absolutely.
Jesse, Duncan, probably 6 months before, Duncan was the singer of Falling Skyward. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah, of course.
6 months before this happened, he was like, he stopped working. Conventional jobs, at least, Not that pursuing your art it sucks that that's non-conventional, but like that's what he's doing full time now. And, if musicians can't make money on the road, or they can't make money at their part-time gig or their off-road gig, there's no money in the bank. There's no money for them to keep producing their art.
Absolutely.
There's no money for them to keep putting things out.
Yeah.
So it's, music is just, it's a sliver of our culture. And we just created like an 18 web, of who it affects and how it affects. And it's,
absolutely.
It's wild.
Especially when everything first happened. I mean, it was for a lot of roadies, it's tough, because touring really just kind of like leads to more touring, and it's hard to transition out of. So, a lot of people that I've toured with, when they're not on the road, they're driving for Uber, or they're bar backing or bartending or waiting tables. And for a good while there, like that wasn't even there, So it was like, cool. My 6 months of touring in the top of 2020 is canceled, and now I can't drive for Uber, and I can't bar back, and I can't wait tables. Like, oh my God.
And now I just yesterday they, not they, Maine, Governor Mills, whatever, brought the restrictions back down to 50 caps in bars. We were going to be opening bars. We can't do that, because there has been a rise. And I'll tell you, Applebee's has been a saving grace for me, man. Because I drink. I like drinking. I like being served drinks. I love having conversations with people at bars. I love meeting new people.
Totally.
A lot of the guests that I have lined up, I met at bars.
Yeah. It's the most excitement I've had all month.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And, Applebee's they've been strong. They've not had an outbreak. They for a while were open till 11, then they're open till midnight. Now they're open till 1. And Crystal's mom, she basically has been coming to our house every day because she didn't do shit. There's nothing for her to do, so she comes to the house like every day around 5, hangs out with us. We leave the house at 9. Get to Applebee's at 9:15. It's half price, dude. $2 Coors Lights until they close.
Perfect.
I've been going there so much that the two bartenders that we see the most, Lisa and Christian, were Facebook friends. My birthday was a couple weeks ago, and
Happy belated.
Thank you. Christian and her boyfriend were like a big part of my birthday. Like they were out with us. They went to the restaurants. Like I've made friends by
that's awesome,
going to that place.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've met an author that's going to be on the series from there.
Oh, cool.
I re-met Aaron from. He was at Pins and Needles when I first met him, but he's at Almost Famous now.
Oh, right on.
Tattooer. I saw him again.
Yeah, that's right around the corner from my shop.
Yeah. And I was like, are you Aaron? He's like, yeah. I was like, you gave me my first tattoo, man, like 10 years ago.
Oh, no way.
And then we were just talking shop, and he's like, oh, I'd love to do that. And then his wife was like, I would also love to do that. And his wife has been on 2 reality TV shows.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
It is. Yeah. One of the things I definitely want to focus on, like I want to have as many dads as I can. I want to have as many business owners, brands, product, producers of whatever that I can. And I want to make sure that a big part of the focus is on what they're doing. And I know, you've been a touring guitar tech, you've been with a lot of big bands, you've been in a lot of really cool Instagram photos, you've been all over the world with this stuff. And then took a step off the road to be a luthier.
Yeah. I mean,
I know that's not what you do now. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But.
So when I found out I was going to have my first daughter, I decided to come off the road, and then was doing some guitar repair work. I went to an acoustic guitar building school when I first came off the road, and then that kind of led me to doing some guitar repair. I wasn't working for Guitar Center. I was working for this third party repair company at a Guitar Center.
Right.
And I did that for about 2.5 years, and then just the the financial kind of realization of what that was going to look like with a kid was very scary. And about 2.5 years into that, I got a call to go back out on the road, and couldn't say no.
Yeah.
And then that kind of pretty much just trickled right into from 2012 to 2019.
19.
Yeah.
I remember there was a time when you were at Guitar Center and we were talking, and you were like, you were debating what you were going to do, and you had said, I'd make more money delivering fucking pizzas.
Oh yeah. The whole whole structure of as everybody knows, the whole payment structure of that company, no matter what you're doing, is brutal.
Yeah.
So yeah, and once I had the realization that I'd probably do better delivering pizza, and then got the phone call to go do another tour, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Do you remember what tour that was?
It was 3 Days Grace.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I actually didn't know. Like, I name drop you all the time. I'm like, yeah, my buddy he's done all kinds of work with him. Like, somebody will be like, oh, Taylor Swift. I'm like, yeah, I know. I got a friend. But I did not know you did 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, that was that was fairly brief. It was like some scattered one-offs, and then that kind of once you're touring, it's like one tour kind of leads to another, and it's like a shockingly small community.
Yeah.
So I did a few one-offs with them, and then that kind of led into the band Chevelle, which was about a year or so, and then kind of as it goes, one kept leading to another.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, another band that I absolutely love, Chevelle. I cannot get enough of them, and I love all their albums, even the albums that people are like, "Whoa, this one's it's not the same without the brothers." Blah blah blah. No,
yeah.
Everything they put out has been dope.
Out of all of those, and I don't know, maybe I'll get some shit for saying this, but out of all of those, kind of butt rock CYY bands, they're probably the coolest. Some of the stuff that Pete plays and sings at the same time is just so impressive.
Yeah.
And they're live, it's cool. It's no BS, no tracks. It's just 3-piece rock band, and it's great.
Yeah, that is. I like a lot of bands that use a lot of tracks. Every band I've been in, we've used tracks, but there's something you have to respect about a band that's just banging, especially
absolutely.
a 3-piece.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Or the first time I saw the White Stripes, so minimal, but it sounded like it was 80 feet wide.
Oh, absolutely.
There was nothing missing.
Totally.
Yeah. And then bands like mine, we were full 5-piece, 6 if you want to include Mac.
Yeah.
And you're just still struggling to sound as fat as the most natural sounding bands out there.
Well, it's tough too for younger bands now, because you're sonically. Right out of the gate, you're sonically competing with, like Kanye West and Shawn Mendes, and that's what people are used to hearing. They're just used to getting their heads blown off. So it's like the thought of just putting a couple of combo amps and a drum kit on stage and competing with that on a sonic level is it's virtually impossible.
Sure. Yeah. Money goes a long way. Yeah. So now though, let's snap to current. Mm-hmm. Your business.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Doc Square Guitar Repair.
And I know you have a Facebook.
Yep.
Pretty sure you have Instagram.
I do, yeah, and it's just at Doc Square Guitar Repair for both.
Gotcha. Are you on Twitter or?
I'm not. Maybe I should be.
I don't know if you should or not. Or even Twitch, dude. Like streaming yourself doing work. You know, I don't know if you do that or not but
I feel like I've been really fortunate. I haven't, since the doors have been open, I haven't really made 1 ounce of effort into advertising and like online promoting, which is really cool in a way. I've just, I've had enough work and been busy enough to where, it hasn't been scary yet.
Sure. That's awesome.
So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's been cool. And the growth has been really, organic, not every time, but I mean, most of the time when someone comes in, it's, it's based on a referral, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I know everyone in my band talks about you.
Cool.
You've done work on everyone's stringed instruments. I mean, Andy snapped a headstock off of a 40-year-old Gibson.
Oh, that's right. I actually remember that.
Yeah, and you can't even tell.
Yeah, that's right.
He still plays it to this day.
I remember
And that guitar meant a lot to him. His uncle played a lot of music with him. His uncle's like the reason he plays music.
Oh, cool.
And he died of cancer a long time ago now. Well, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he left to Andy was that guitar.
Oh, cool.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the
That's
fact
cool.
that he was even playing it live was, was an event.
Yeah, totally.
And then to see it go through the ceiling, it was just like, oh, dude, like,
Yeah. No.
he's gonna be fucking sad for a long time.
Totally.
And he was. And he didn't know for a while that Nate even had a guitar or that Nate had talked to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't remember how it happened, but I think Nate was like, dude, I'll put a neck on it or we'll core it or something. Like we'll keep as much of the guitar as we can.
Yeah.
And so Nate had it, and then it came back as the guitar in one piece again.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
which was crazy.
Yeah, that was long before the shop. If I remember correctly, I think I was living in South Portland at the time, and Nate came to my apartment and like met me in my driveway and handed the guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think I fixed that like right before going on tour because I didn't have a shop yet, so I was still kind of bouncing around and doing random repair work in between tours. But, yeah.
And then even my stuff again, dude, ceilings are rough on stringed instruments. I still have that bass. It still has the black eye because the one black tuner versus the gold ones. But the way you rework the wood and you got everything to like sit back in appropriately, like that's crazy. And you've done some Evertune stuff too for some local guys, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done a couple of them. Yeah.
Well, did you do one for Kevin?
I did do one for Kevin. Yeah,
And
I don't know if it was his like personal guitar or if it was someone in a band that he was recording. I think that might be what it was.
It might have been for Kenny Lee for the American Classic.
I don't know if it was for Kenny.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it was a blonde Telecaster, and that
Yep.
was, and then I did a couple more after that. Yeah, that's a pretty intense mod.
Is it? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know shit about it. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't know like how you would install it. I don't know any of the craftsmanship behind it.
It's a project.
No doubt. Yeah, I could see that. So, how long have you been at your current space?
Current space. Okay.
That'll be a good one to edit to get to the next camera.
Perfect.
And I'm going to take a look at this one to see.
Okay, cool. Does flow feel okay for you though?
Dude, I love it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, everything's good.
Awesome.
And your voice is very animated. Like, you just have a voice that you can listen to.
Okay, sweet.
The comments are going to be, get mad off there, dude. So how long have you been at your current shop?
Current shop I opened April 1st.
Oh, so really recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's been, I've been doing it for a long time, but officially like with a standalone public space.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Is it open to public? Like, people can just drive up?
Yeah, I started to just kind of tell people that I'm only there on Mondays because I had this, it became a little challenging. When you come to drop off a guitar, it's not like getting your oil changed.
Right.
There's a lot to talk about. People want to talk about music and bands and records and everything like that. So I was kind of losing a lot of time talking. So I pretty much tell everyone that I'm there Mondays.
Console day?
Yeah, and then I basically just talk all day Monday and then work the rest of the week.
And I mean, what kind of hours do you put into this? I mean, it's your gig, right? I mean, do you feel like you're working a 40-hour week? Are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, pretty close. I mean, it's working for yourself. It's the first time I've ever really like fully worked for myself full time, and it's it's easy to take advantage of those freedoms sometimes without even realizing it. So I've been trying to kind of stick to like 9 to 6, 9 to 7, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's one thing I could never do. In my industry, I am kind of an independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that I have a store within a store.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a department within a store that has 3, and everybody has an overseer. You know what I mean? And I oversee 7, and I'm overseen by one who's overseen by one who's overseen by the owner. So like I have
So you're in a good spot. That's
yeah,
cool.
for sure. Yeah. You know, I have to. There is a report. You know, I do have to report to people. But realistically, if you know, as a line item on the P&L, if I'm green, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
You know, I can't exactly like cut my own hours, which is good because if I were in a position where I could, I'd be like, let me show you real quick how I can do all this in 10 hours.
Yeah.
But not do it.
Yeah, totally.
Let me show you the wrong way how to do this in 10
Yeah.
hours.
It's tough for me because I grew up surfing. You know, that was always a really big part of my life as a kid. And I didn't surf for like, I don't know, from like 28 to 32. I just, for whatever reason, just kind of fell out of it. And I've recently gotten really back into it. Actually, because my oldest daughter has like become obsessed with it. So it's gotten me really back into it. And now it's like every time there's waves in the morning, I'm like, well, I could go to the shop at noon and just work till 8. And
Yeah.
So it's a slippery slope.
My friend I was telling you about that has the daughters. He now works for a manufacturer. Like he's not in a retail store anymore. So he does a lot of driving. But, you know, again, if there's really no reason to go somewhere, or if he can go there at noon, you know, instead of 8, he's saying he surfs.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
But he's crazy. Like he probably surfed like today. You know what I mean? Like, like wetsuit, cold, windy. He's like, yeah, I'm out there.
Oh yeah, man. Growing up, all winter, snow days were surf days for me.
That's wild. In Maine, though?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It goes off in the winter here.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me. I don't know. And I'm a robust dude. Like, you know, I'm probably warmer than you are, and I'm still just like, no. But I also was born in Florida. I grew up in Florida. You know, like I'm used to bath water everywhere. I'm used to the rain being hot.
Yeah.
You know, well, not used to. I've been here 10 years now, so.
Yeah.
You know, people say that I got to let it go.
Oh, wait. So when we had like just met, you were like new to Maine.
So my mother is from Maine. My father is from Florida.
Gotcha. Okay.
She moved down there, or went on vacation there, met him, and just never went home.
Okay.
So I've been back and forth. You know, I visited a bunch. I lived in, you know, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut a couple of times, Mass, back and forth. But as far as like real time, here I am, you know, roots in the ground, family, that whole, you know, like around the time we met.
Right on.
Yeah, and I know that because I met you like 2 months after I met Jesse Harbison, Bitter Bones, and you know, that was when I got into that band, which is why I was where I was when I met you.
Right on.
You know, it's weird how the world works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really digging Jesse's stuff.
Oh, cool. Dude, yeah, his shit's so. We're gonna do an episode actually, him and I.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. No, I thought it was great. And was it Duncan that like did his tracks? Like, did the man? Yeah, he's a talented dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what he does full time now.
That's awesome. Know? Yeah, cool songs, really cool songs.
Yeah. And then they were on like the Hot Summer Show, you know, which is the show that's on the pier like twice a summer for Hot 104.7.
Yeah.
You know, they both opened up one of those shows, which was sick.
Yeah.
You know, they've done a lot of really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've obviously, you know, I've slowed down more. You know, having 3 kids is not exactly conducive to, you know, being gone all the time, playing shows, whatever. Yeah. And it's it also doesn't align very well with renters.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah. You know, I made, you know, last month from Heathens, the band that I'm in now, I think the whole month we made like $118.
Yeah.
And you know, the spend between just strings and heads and sticks and, you know, space rent was you know, $1,200.
Right, and you can't even begin to talk about time.
Time, yeah, time's a huge one. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a massive one. You know, even with something like a cover band, you know, it's like I mean, you think about 4 or 5 people rehearsing 60 songs, getting them real tight, all the travel and everything, playing for 3 hours a night, you know, in a bar scoffing at giving them $1,000.
Yeah.
Is insanity,
dude. there are some cover bands out there like when the Big Easy was the Big Easy. So
I love that place. Yeah.
There was a Nirvana cover band. Every one of them had like Framus heads and like Mesa cabs and PRS guitars.
Yeah,
they had the gear.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And they literally played Nirvana for like 3 hours, and they did well. Like they did fucking really good.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, I watched the promoter or the club owner, I don't know, count out $4,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, the place was packed. It was wall to wall. It was probably over capacity.
Yeah, with the work they put in, they probably earned $4,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's funny to me how people that are in, original bands will talk so much shit about cover bands when it's like, bro, you don't understand. He just paid his rent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing someone else's music. Like,
yeah.
and then the owner where I work, he's in a Norah Jones cover band. And then
cool.
Yeah. And he's in a
That's rad.
Yeah, oh, it's sick. And then he's got a band that does 70s and 80s covers. And so, like, we click because of that, Like, every time I see him, he'll sit down and be like, hey, man, did you play out this weekend? Mm-hmm. And I used to be able to be like, oh, yeah, it was crazy. Somebody broke their arm. It was amazing. And he's like, I don't understand it, but I support you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And then I'll be like, oh, did you play out? He's like, oh, yeah, I was here. And, now, like once a week I'll text him. He's like, hey, you playing anywhere? Like, I'll come watch. Like, during the pandemic, he's still been able to play. Yep. Because, everything was outside, socially distanced.
I know, that's about to get really tricky.
Yeah, there's only 35 people outside. Right. They're all at picnic tables, and the band's in their corner.
Yeah.
So I stopped asking him as often, and he started asking me more because he's picking up. His season's getting busier, and he's like, "Did you play out? Did you play out?" I'm like, "No, man." And he's like, "Why not?" It's like, "Well, I shouldn't name drop. I'll edit that out." I was like, "Well, man, your music, you could stand on the corner of Congress Street and play, and you're not going to offend anybody."
Totally.
And the music I play, whether or not it's actually offensive, the delivery makes it offensive.
Sure.
To everybody.
Yeah.
So, for heavy bands especially, it's been really tough, which is a big part of why I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
I need to do an art.
Yeah.
Or some sort of performance, some sort of something to put out there.
Yeah.
And I'd actually started writing a 15-minute stand-up sketch that...
Oh, really?
It's solid. I love it. And it's all true, which makes it even better.
Oh, dude, I want to hear it. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, I was getting ready to like start looking for open mics and everything, and then this happened. So I still have it written. It's still,
Sweet.
The first day I can do it, I'm going to do it.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. But it's easier to be able to do things especially during a pandemic, it's easier to be able to do things, we're 6 feet apart, there's circulating air, whatever, and there's only 2 people to schedule.
Right.
Versus, a whole band.
Of course.
Or if I do stand-up, it's just me.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how we got to that point of the conversation.
Yeah.
But.
No, it's funny though, like just, with the types of people that can get away with playing in certain types of environments. I've heard a lot of rock bands talking about, these like drive-in shows and stuff like that, and how it just doesn't work,
Yeah.
Cyrus, the drummer of Newfound Glory, was in an interview recently. He was like, yeah, if you take the audience away, we're painfully awkward to watch live. And it makes so much sense. It's just the whole, for a lot of bands, it's the crowded, packed room with sweaty people is the show.
Yeah.
Take that away and put a bunch of people in cars and a band jumping around on stage, and it's really awkward.
Yeah. There have actually, so Bert Kreischer, who is a stand-up comedian, he just finished like a second semi-national drive-in movie theater tour.
Oh, really?
And he was like the first one to do it.
Oh,
so
cool.
now it's like catching on.
Nice.
But he was the first one to do like a big production. Like, he did one where it was you couldn't. There was one where you couldn't have cars. You had to have RVs.
Oh, really?
And people watched from the top of their RVs.
Huh.
Like just different shit like that.
Yeah.
Which is cool, man. Like, if there's a way that you can... I want to be able to do everything. I just want it to be safe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, by any means, an anti-masker, blah, 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 anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I want to do everything. Like, I want to get back to just being a belligerent, drunk asshole downtown and falling in a puddle of somebody else's puke. Not that I want to fall in their puke, but I don't want to be like, oh, I have COVID now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many nights...
You just want to fall in puke in peace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. If I'm going to fall in puke, it's got to be peaceful. And talking about big sweaty rooms, like, dude, I can't tell you how many times, and probably the same with you, that I've come home with blood and sweat.
Oh, yeah.
And 10% of it's mine.
Absolutely.
And the shirt just went in the laundry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
like,
big deal.
You took a shower the next day because you were too drunk. You slept in someone else's disgustingness. And now it's like that person coughed on the other side of Walmart. Execute him.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
it's so
intense.
weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I was thinking today, I had to go into Home Depot, and I was about to put my mask on, and I was thinking it's so weird that it's not weird now to, like, walk around, like, in masks, rewind a year and it sounds like a scene out of a weird, scary movie.
For sure.
Everyone walking around in masks.
Every Asian zombie movie or virus movie that has like subtitles. You know?
For sure.
Like Japan. Like every time there's an outbreak in Japan, like they're all wearing masks.
Like if I watched the movie Contagion right now, it would hit way too close.
Yeah, yeah. Or oh my God, what's the one with oh man, Hoffman, Dustin Hoffman.
Isn't that, or is that Outbreak?
Outbreak, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's Outbreak,
Yeah, a movie like that. Like, man, I don't know. And I could go down that rabbit hole forever, but
yeah. Let's not.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah. I want to know, dude, who was your favorite person to tour with? Favorite performer, group, individual?
Jeez, God, there's so many different examples of that. You know, I mean, the first band that I ever toured with was amazing because it was special and it was the first.
Yeah,
and
for
then,
sure.
You know, throughout the past 13 years, there's been some tours that have been miserable and horrible, and some that have been totally incredible. But you know, even on those miserable, horrible tours, I've made some fantastic friends just within the crew and even some of the band members and stuff. So, that would be really hard. I will.
What was your first?
So when I was 21. Yeah, I was 21 years old. So that was, 4 years ago. My friend Brian called me, and our old high school bands used to like trade shows with each other because he had a band down in Massachusetts, and I had a band up here in Portland in high school, and we hadn't spoken in like a couple of years, and I had a job driving a box truck delivering wires to contractors, and he was like, "Hey, I have this new band, and we just got signed, and we have this new song that's about to hit pop radio, and we're looking for a guitar tech. What are you, what are you up to?" And my first thought was, the hell's a guitar tech?
Right.
Like I had no idea. At that point in time, I was still taking my own bass to Buck Dancers to get it set up when it needed something. I barely changed strings on anything.
Sure.
But I was like, this sounds cool. And I was like, what's your band? And he was like, it's called Boys Like Girls. And we have this song called The Great Escape that's just about to hit radio. And my first thought was like, wow, what a terrible band name. But but yeah, this sounds fun. I'll go out for like 3 to 6 months and find a band to play in or something. That was kind of my intention at the time. And then, that record exploded, went gold, and we went around the world, 11 times, and did all the TV shows and stuff. And so that was really cool. It was also total chaos. I didn't know how to be a guitar tech, and some of the guys in that band didn't know how to be famous yet.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. Yeah, I mean, I would say, other than that, the last gig that I just had was for Alison Krauss, the bluegrass country singer.
You just posted a memory of that today, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we had just wrapped the 2018 tour with Willie Nelson, and that was a lot of fun. It was the first time that I had ever been on tour. Everyone was a lot older. I was like the kid, when I was 35. But it was very mellow. Everyone would have one glass of red wine on the bus and go to bed at the end of the night. So it was very different. It was cool.
It was good for your heart, right?
Right.
When you're that old, you gotta be heart conscious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just one really big glass.
Yeah.
Just one. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool to be out on tour with a bunch of like adults,
sure,
and have it be mellow.
A little less keeping up, a little less crazy.
Yeah. Because there were definitely some crazy ones in the middle there.
Yeah. Now, so you're married now.
Yes.
This is your second wife. You have 2 girls.
First wife.
First wife.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were not married to your your daughter's mother.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So at what point? Just trying to figure out the timeline. So they were bornish when we met, or when you started.
Yeah. So when I started when I was working at a Guitar Center, that was like 2009, 10.
Gotcha.
And those were literally their birth years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so they have seen Dad do all kinds of shit.
Yeah. It was cool. They, it used to be, they used to love to like come to the airport at the Jetport in Portland, like ride up the escalator and drop me off and pick me up. And, there was one band that I toured with that my oldest loved, and she came out and there's this cute little video. I wish we could somehow post it on here, but she came into the dressing room. We had a show in Boston, and they sang. The band came in and did an acoustic song, and Haley, my daughter, like sang it with them. And
No kidding.
It was really cool. Yeah.
That's really cool. If you haven't sent it to me, I might be able to figure it out.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll figure it out someday.
Yeah. It's cute.
This won't be posted, so tomorrow, just for context, tomorrow is the election. It's November 2nd today.
I know.
I'm hoping that I'll have enough stuff backlogged and edited where I can truly start releasing towards the end of December.
Cool.
And then, I'll be able to take time editing new stuff because I want to have like 20-ish in the bank.
Yeah.
So that I don't run out of content.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know when this will come out, but
Yeah.
if you send it to me, hopefully I can figure it out between now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they went from you're at Guitar Center, you go back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was it? I've not spent as much time on the road as some. I've spent a lot more than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that when Carter got to the age where he started realizing I was gone is when it became like really tough for me.
Yeah.
Not leaving, like the day I left was never a big issue because I'll be back later, and he's like, oh, cool, Dad'll be back later.
Right.
And then the third day we're FaceTiming and he's like, where's Dad? And then the fourth day he's running around with my old T-shirts, just smelling them, and I'm getting pictures from home and it's kind of sucks. And,
yeah, totally.
And then they get to an age where they're like, okay, I get it. And then there's like that next step where they're like, yo, like my parents are supposed to be home. No, Chad's dad's not gone.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
did you feel like you went through that as well with them, or?
I mean, I guess I feel like I guess I got lucky. I kind of skipped right around all of that because my heavier touring years were, like pre 5 years old.
Gotcha.
And then in the last 5 years, like, for instance, when I was with Alison Krauss, we'd only go out, like May through October, like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So it was never like, oh my God, Dad's gone for 4 months.
Right.
And when I was gone for 4 months, they were like 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I guess I got kind of lucky. I didn't really have to deal with that. I mean, I would get I wish you weren't going to go on tour, but it wasn't. It's not like I was like missing middle school graduations and stuff like that. Which I've seen a lot of people miss on tour, and it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess I'm lucky there.
Yeah. And then I've been fortunate. With Crystal, we're coming up on 11 years, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. She's the type where she gets super heated and then gets over it, but it's cyclical. We don't fight for long periods of time.
Yeah.
We have a blowout, and then a couple weeks go by, then we have a blowout.
Yeah.
Not every single day, but like, when things get stressful, like, when I was gone for periods of time and stuff like that. I mean, was your partner at the time? I mean, was she pretty understanding about it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would say she was relatively supportive in the sense that I mean, she was home with the kids and the touring, mostly paid for everything that it needed to pay for. So there was that.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't say that I was dealing with some resentful. Partner resenting me for being on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, I mean, the darker side of, being a parent is the stuff that is not on social media. It's not outward. It's not out there, so it's just always kind of interesting to see like what other people's perspectives are. Like you look at, Franz, for example, from Attila,
Mm-hmm.
He was I guess still kind of, a big public figure, especially in like the metalcore scene, hardcore scene, whatever. But his wife and kids, like he had the amount of money where his wife and kids were with him,
mm-hmm.
And it didn't seem like there was really a falling out there until they weren't with him, and then it seemed like they split pretty quickly, and it was volatile, and it was all over social media. You don't typically see that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of trash on Facebook that posts, "Oh, my baby daddy ain't shit."
Right.
You know what I mean? But
totally.
Who cares about those people?
Yeah.
It's the quieter side of the shit that we go through as dads that people don't realize. You're on the road months and months and months at a time. There's a big potential there, and that's why I ask, because there's a big potential there for you to be going through the not necessarily gaslighting, but definitely the manipulation of, are you even a parent because you're not home?
Yeah,
you
you're
know what I
just
mean.
out
Like
partying with
paycheck
a rock
doesn't.
band.
Paycheck's not a dad. So it's cool to hear that you didn't go through that. Because
Yeah.
or at least not enough to where it's notable enough for you to talk about.
Yeah.
Um,
I need to be very careful here. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's guys that work 9 to 5s that get that kind of treatment.
Oh, absolutely. Totally.
And Crystal has worked, very, very little in the amount of time that we've been together. And, in the last 5 years, like, no, I've not been on the road a lot, but I work, 65 hours a week.
Totally.
Not home, like
Yeah.
disconnected. If the boys have karate, it's her.
Yeah.
Boys have doctors, dentists, it's her,
Absolutely.
our last kid, she had a C-section and I got to take 6 days off,
Wow.
but she's a savage. Like literally the next day she was like walking around like, where's my fucking ham sandwich? I want to get out of here.
Amazing.
And she's crazy Irish.
Yeah, that is savage. Wow.
Yeah. Irish ladies, man.
Man.
Yeah. Who was, so we talked about your first, we started to go into who was your favorite. We talked about your first and your most recent.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your straight up most favorite person to tour with? Band, performer, individual?
Favorite. Geez, I don't know. Ironically, I would have to probably say it's a band very unlike most of the people that I was lucky enough to tour. There was this Irish band called Celtic Thunder.
Okay,
it was like
I don't know them.
It's not like a boy band. There's 5 principal male singers in suits.
Okay.
With like a big 9-piece band, and they do all these covers, and there's, but it was just such a massive tour in terms of like the amount of people on stage in the band and in the crew, and it was just, I mean, we were like, I think we were like 28 people deep.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it was just, and that tour went on for 4 straight months.
Wow.
I flew home once, and then we had a show in Maine and in Boston. So I got to come home twice within 4 months. But
where in Maine?
Merrill Auditorium.
Oh, okay.
And
also, yeah, big. Obviously, that many members. It's a big production. Big.
Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, it was I don't know, 2 trucks and 3 buses or something
Jesus.
like that. But that tour, I guess that might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Couple of the other crew members came to my wedding. I just got married in February. This past February.
Congratulations.
Thank you. A couple of them came to that, and I feel like definitely made more lifelong friends on that run than a lot of others. So
have you seen that meme that's like, hey person that I met on tour in 2009 for 15 seconds. Let's be Facebook friends for life.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's Steve Carell, just like, and then the words around it. It's so true though. Like,
yeah,
making friends on the road. I've made friends with rando people. Like there's a band, this kid Ryan. Everyone calls him Peo. I can't believe I can't remember his. Oh, Palili or Peo Lily. But he's in a band called Kanashi now. And at the time he was in Dead Ocean. And we played a couple shows together, and we hung out like a couple of times. We were by no means tight.
Yeah.
And I was on a work trip that was bringing me to Pennsylvania, and I knew that, and I was driving because I didn't want to fly because it was close enough to drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Less stress to drive, honestly, that close. So I know I was gonna drive like through his town, and I hadn't seen him in like 4 years at this point. And I just like I hit him up on Facebook. I was like, Peo, like everything's paid 7 days. You want to go smash a hotel with me?
Yeah.
He's like, down. And again, we hadn't seen each other in years, but just that
Amazing.
connection that you get,
totally.
That quick bond that you get with musicians when you're on the road for a short time. And we had a crazy time.
Yeah.
Crazy time.
Nice.
Company card too, which always makes it,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. They don't let you take cash out of the ATM in those fucking things.
Damn it.
I know. So, what's the roster? Let's as many bands as you can remember touring with.
Well, after Boys Like Girls, I left Boys Like Girls and thought that I knew what I was doing because I worked for a big band.
Sure.
And then I got hired to go work for Newfound Glory. This was in like
Very cool.
2007, 2008, I think. And just got thrown to the wolves, got fired after like 4 shows.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was totally gutted because I loved that band as a kid, and,
Yeah.
and it was cool to get to go there. But yeah, and then after that, geez, a couple random small things. Did some shows with the Rocket Summer.
Okay. I don't know them, but
And then that was right around the time where I kind of stopped for a while. And that's like Guitar Center era.
yep.
And then it came back with 3 Days Grace and Chevelle.
Yep.
And then band Neon Trees.
Yes.
And that was I
remember
the
that.
one that my oldest daughter loved a lot.
Oh, so the acoustic show was with them?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then I did Nick Jonas from the Jonas Brothers.
Did you really?
Yeah, and that was a bummer because that gig was sick.
Yeah.
I was his guitar tech, and he didn't play guitar very much, so my job was very easy.
No doubt.
And he hired this absolutely phenomenal gospel band from South Side of Chicago, and they were insanely, I mean, just next level, jaw-dropping good.
Mm-hmm.
We did like all the TV shows that you could think of, like gearing up for an album cycle, and then we did this like little underplay tour where we were going into rooms like Port City and even smaller, just to kind of generate his record coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went and did some one-off festival in Mexico, and like on the way home, oh no, wait, we came home and then we went to LA and filmed Ellen DeGeneres.
No shit.
And so we did the camera blocking, kind of getting ready for the shoot, and then broke for lunch. And the production manager was like, all crew meet at this Italian restaurant down the street. It's urgent. And we were like, oh man, okay. So we went and had lunch, and he was like, look, you guys aren't fired, but Nick's not doing a band anymore. He's just going to have a drummer and a computer.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, oh. And he was like, all right, you guys are on retainer till the end of the month. And this was right around...
Paid retainer, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this was right around... it was like weeks away from Thanksgiving, going into the holidays,
Yep.
going into the dead time of touring. And I was like, oh, no. And then after that... what did I do after that? That might have been when I came into Celtic Thunder. Worked for this band Sleeping with Sirens briefly.
No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Did you seriously?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's one of my childhood bands.
That was a lot of fun.
This band, Sleeping with Sirens.
That was like, I think on that tour I learned what it was like to be on tour with like Motley Crue in 1988.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Right around the same time, I did the band Walk the Moon for a little bit.
Yep. I talk about that's when I name drop when I talk about you. It's Walk the Moon for sure.
And then, and then it was 30 Seconds to Mars for like 3 years.
Dude, let's get into that.
There's some fun.
Well,
moments.
who's after that? And then I'd like to circle back to that.
Alison Krauss, and then I stopped.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's get back to that. Jared Leto is one of my favorite people in the fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's a great actor. His voice is unreal.
He's very talented.
He's extremely talented.
Mm-hmm.
Producer, cult leader.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, he's whatever he wants to do, he fucking does it all the way,
Yeah.
and he makes a ton of money doing it, and that's wild.
He's very talented.
And actually, that's another thing you just posted not too long ago was when he did the tribute to Chester live at a show.
Yeah, that was cool.
Were you okay? So timeline wise, were you with them when Chester died? Were you with 30 Seconds to Mars?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So crazy. Is he, as much as you can tell? I mean, I doubt he's going to see this, but is he fucking weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because dude, you see him play shows,
and if he does see this, it's fine. Even though he probably won't. I was there for 3 years, and for 2 years, I never got addressed or got eye contact. And then in the last 6 months, it graduated to I was called homie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll take homie from Jared Leto. Are you serious? That's the Joker guy. Dude, not Lord of War. Lord of War. I mean, it's so many. Every movie he's ever been in, I've enjoyed. Yeah. Every album he's ever put out, I've enjoyed. Mm-hmm. The crazy rants he puts out on social media.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like if Jared Leto's gonna do something, I'm gonna watch it.
Totally.
You know, and
he's great.
Yeah, and it might have to do with like the era that I grew up in. His level of fame at that time. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But he's wildly captivating. Like you see shows where he's playing on rooftops. And the crowd is 10 stories down, and they're still like wildly engaged. They can't even, they can't smell him, they can't touch him, nothing.
Right. Worshipping him, and he loves
it. It's worship. It's worship. It is 100%. And I think that's what caused it to evolve into literally a cult where he's charging $20,000 tickets to come stare at him on an island. And. He posted something like he was on the island for so long he didn't know COVID happened until like.
Oh my God, I cracked up when I saw that. I was like, that is so something that he would post.
Yeah. You want another one?
I'm good right now. Thanks, so.
Cool.
I cracked up when I saw that. I was like, classic.
But you always have to wonder like what's like the thing with Ellen. Ellen was the face of what the right person should be for so long, nice and accepting and. There wasn't a classification of person that she didn't, support. And then it comes out that she's the fucking rudest person in the world. So you have to wonder, like, the people that keep the Jared Leto machine running, what do they deal with? Is there anything like...
Yeah. Sorry, first of all, with that Ellen thing, I remember being really surprised reading that because I have done that show with a couple different bands, I think like 5 times.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember like calling home and talking to friends and being like, man, that is the coolest. That's got to be the coolest gig. Every single person there seems so happy.
No doubt.
Like they love their job.
Yeah.
And so when I read that, I was like, wow, it's crazy. But to answer your question with the Mars camp, if you will, it was, it's just total chaos. I mean, I'm probably one of, I don't know, like 20 guitar techs that Jared's had.
Oh, wow.
God knows how many tour managers and booking agents and et cetera. He's got such a presence and such a power that, a lot of like, unrealistic expectations happen. And
like he has unrealistic expectations.
Yeah,
right. Like why am I walking on the ground? Like why don't I have people carrying me around?
So I mean, I do know that the turnover at that gig is intense.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be attractive if you haven't been there before because it's Jared's band.
No doubt. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I don't know if he's married or has people, but like, was he the type that? No, I'm not trying to ask. Like, did he have a bunch of fucking hoes in his dressing room? But I mean, was he the type to have girls around with him, or I mean, was he pretty like was solidarity his thing? It's because there's not a lot other than what he puts out there. There's not a lot of press of like behind the scenes shit that happens with him.
He's a very private, famous person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's intentional. What
I
you're
guess,
able to say.
Yeah, I guess I would say. Nothing really jumped out at me.
No. Now, you've built guitars for a couple of bands?
A couple, yeah. I went through a building phase between, I don't know, like 2013 and 15, and kind of had a hard time balancing it with touring and trying to finish guitars and, not finish something and then have to go out on the road for 2 months, and it got kind of overwhelming, and I just kind of stopped. I haven't built anything in, 2-3 years.
Did you do anything for him?
No, not for Jared.
No.
No.
Who definitely walked though, right?
Yep. Built a guitar for Eli from Walk the Moon.
Yep. And who else?
I built a guitar for Alex, the
from Sparks?
singer of All Time Low.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And then also Zach, All Time Low's bass player.
Gotcha.
And then some people from town too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a little while though.
Yeah, no doubt. So now you're not building. Primarily, you're focusing on repairs and restorations and modifying. And what's your log? What's it look like right now if you walked into your shop? How many repair orders do you have?
I think I just did a count the other day, and there were 38 cases in there.
With zero promotion, just word of mouth.
Yeah,
I would say
which
zero.
is-
You're
which is-
online, but
yeah, I mean, I'm online, but no, I'm not doing radio ads or
right.
paying for ads or anything. So, which feels nice, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, that just goes to show, like, Maine is as big of a state as it is. The music community is pretty tight. It's pretty small.
Totally.
Small is relative. It's 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people. But to be able to like not legitimately pay for promotion and still be that busy, still be sustainable, even in the middle of a pandemic, that it definitely speaks to your work, your craftsmanship, and like I said earlier, I've seen a lot of the work that you've done, but I've probably seen like 1% of what you've done. Like what's like one of the more crazy projects that you've done lately, or like what's one of like the like older, cooler guitars? I mean, I know you have a banjo and a guitar, but like what are we looking at here?
Oh, that's actually just my acoustic.
Okay.
And that banjo's just getting a setup. But there's this one client of mine, and he's sort of really been going hard with this throughout this whole pandemic, buying up all these crazy prized vintage instruments and flipping them.
Yeah, buy while the market's low.
And it's I mean, he's like making a living doing it.
No
he brings
shit.
me a lot of stuff, and so I've had some pretty wild, 40s and 50s Gibson acoustics, and crazy crack repairs and neck resets and
Yep.
and refrets and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of vintage stuff, which has been pretty cool to kind of geek out on.
Yeah. So I'll have to edit this while I think of another question about your job specifically. Or I'll just let it roll. Fuck it. It's real. How are you finding people? I mean, obviously it's network of word of mouth, but
Well,
how does somebody inquire?
Yeah, there. I did have a couple of advantages. First, I had a sort of a backlog of clientele just from the past, I don't know, decade of like doing this in between touring and stuff.
Right.
So it's not like I didn't know anyone. That combined with as soon as everything locked down, in March, right?
Yeah.
I opened my door in April. People were already getting bored, and well, I might as well fix up that old Martin that's been in my attic since '96.
Right.
So I got.
So you met my dad.
I got a, so I got a big wave when I opened, which was really helpful to me. And then, from that big wave, those people told friends, and every time someone inquires, it's usually like a text message from
Sure.
an unknown number. It's like, hey, I got your number from so and so,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and he said I should call you. So yeah, it's just been really, really organic, which has been great.
That's awesome. And I mean, so not obviously, not everybody has your phone number. And I'm hoping that there's like one or two listeners that'll be like, damn, that's impressive. Like I have work I need done. So it's just say it again. What's the social media for Instagram and Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, so it's at Doc Square Guitar Repair.
And Doc is DOC or DOCK?
DOCK.
Gotcha. Doc Square Guitar Repair.
And then the email is just Daniel@DocSquareGuitarRepair.com.
So you own your own email, but do you have a website?
Yeah, DocSquareGuitarRepair.com.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Who are you, like Squarespace or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know anything about it. My friend Ben Emery made it for me.
Oh, cool.
I'm spraying a guitar body for him in exchange because I barely know how to check my own email.
It's on your phone, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So I mean, what's the scope? I mean, if someone needs are you looking at everything from a restring all the way up to like, there's 3 holes punched in the back of an acoustic? Like what? I mean, what's too little? What's too big?
Yeah, no, I mean nothing really too big or small. I mean, it's the only thing that's going to really, get changed is the amount of time that it takes to get done.
Right.
Obviously, if I'm going to reset the neck on your ancient Martin and refret it and fix a bunch of bracing inside and fix cracks and rebind it and refinish it, that's obviously going to take a lot longer than putting EMGs in your Epiphone Zach Wild signature model.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, anything big or small, yeah.
So that's awesome. We've talked about dad stuff, your business. Again, the purpose of this podcast, like I want to have as many dads as possible. You don't have to be a dad. You can be a mom, you can be a nobody, you can not have kids at all. I want to support brands, producers, businesses, as much as I can, and realistically, you're like 5 of those things. You fit the bill pretty well. You gain a couple. You got any tattoos?
A couple, yeah.
Okay, so you gain a little bit of weight, and
yeah, that's right. Yeah, then we can really hang out.
Yeah. But I also have to know like there's got to be some stuff that's a little outside that. A lot of my guests that I have lined up have something to tell about their craft or about what they've done in the past that not everyone has been privy to see. Like, what's some of the crazier shit that you've seen on the road?
Crazier shit that I've seen on the road,
or just like a story that. When you tell someone like, "Oh, I used to tour," and like, "Oh, what's that like?" Like, what, this story is gonna hook you. Like, which ones stand out?
So it's funny. I had written and recorded this little guitar part, and I sent it to my friend Jordan. He was the playback guy at 30 Seconds to Mars. This wildly talented guy, and I was like, "Hey, can you make a beat to this?" And he was like, "Yeah, totally." And we started kind of like reminiscing about stories, with Mars. And so we did this tour with the band Muse. And so we were the openers for Muse, who are amazing.
Yeah.
And we were at Red Rocks in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you've ever been there or seen it, it's super iconic and, massive hill of people, so it looks even bigger than it actually is, and so we had this song. They had this song called "Conquistador," and it was always the second song in our set. So I knew that was always what I would do for the second song. And at sound check, Jared was like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to do that one tonight. Don't worry about it." I was like, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah." And then showtime happened, and I left it out just in case he changed his mind. And that part of the set blew by, and I was like, "Sweet." And the thing about Red Rocks is it's probably one of the coolest places to see a show. It is one of the worst places in like United States rock band touring to do a show as a crew member.
Okay.
It's horrible. So that part of the show went by and I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm all done with like, my electric guitar stuff for the night. So I'm going to pack up now and crush this load out." And, we get to the second to the last song, and I'm completely packed up. All my cases, wireless is all packed up. Electric guitars are in the cases and everything. I'm like pushing cases towards the truck. And Jared goes, "Red Rocks, do you guys want to hear a song called Conquistador?" And I was like, "Oh my God." Just total deer in the headlights. And I look up and it's just sold out Red Rocks, people going nuts. And we all could talk to each other in our in-ears.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets on talkback and he was like, "Where's my fucking guitar, bro? Where's my guitar? Where's my guitar?"
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "I'm really sorry. I packed up." And then so we see each other the next day and I was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry about last night. It was totally my fault." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Conquistador." And he was like, "Oh, I don't give a shit."
Oh.
I was like, "Cool. Total flex. Got it."
Yeah. I'll do whatever I want. I'll shit on the floor. I'll take as much time as I want to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't need a guitar to do it. Well, dude, thank you so much. I think that's a great spot to wrap it
Awesome.
up. I think we
thanks
covered
for
some
having
ground.
me, man.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Yeah. I'm honestly super thankful that, I got to do my first one with a homie.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
No, this is great.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see all the other stuff that's going to come out, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I am. I have a fucking team here. I don't. I've got some really cool people lined up. Like I said,
I'm
I've
psyched
got.
to see Jesse's. That'll be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, he just started a new career too, so we'll be talking about that.
Cool.
I've got everything from just dudes that want to talk about hardcore music that aren't even in bands. They just want to shoot the shit, all the way up to authors of books that are talking shit about people, to authors that are actual fiction stories about love and romance, and I've got a couple mental health professionals coming on.
Cool.
What
So
else
it sounds pretty diverse. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't want to pigeonhole myself. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I feel like a lot of people are going to assume that the whole thing's going to be about music just because of who I am. And, there will be a lot of music. I'm going to have a lot of guests that are musicians or,
of course.
Want to talk about music or whatever. But, I have interests in all facets of life.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
So one more time, plug your .coms.
Yeah, so at Doc Square Guitar Repair on Instagram and Facebook, and Daniel at DocSquareGuitarRepair.com.
Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.